to Geography Nuts, where we explore the world with you. Please subscribe and click the bell button so you can follow along on our journey.
We looked at all 16 US territories and their relationship with the federal government, as well as Puerto Rico in detail, the biggest Commonwealth. I will put the link in the end of the video for you to watch. But are you excited to explore Northern Mariana Island with us today? It is also an unincorporated Commonwealth of US. It is located pretty far away from the US mainland in North Pacific Ocean. It composed of 22 islands and inlets. Only 3 of them are inhabited. You can fly from South Korea, China, Japan, Hong Kong, and Guam into Saipan directly. If you are traveling from North America, most airlines will have a layover at South Korea, but expect closer to 24 hours of travel time. Even though it may be a little bit harder to get to, this is the place worth going, especially if you love any kind of water sport. You can jet ski, windsurf, snorkel, and scuba dive. In fact, Saipan alone has 18 dive sites, one of the best in the world. This is the flag of Northern Mariana Island. This flag shows 3 symbols on a beautiful blue background. A star represents the United States, a latte stone represents the Chamorros, and a mwarmwar is a decorative wreath represent the Carolinians. The blue background represents the Pacific Ocean and the Mariana Trench. This is the seal of the island. It has the same 3 symbols as in the flag, superimposed on a blue field.
Geography!
Archipelago of Mariana is located in the North Pacific Ocean. Except for Guam, all the other islands in the archipelago are part of the Northern Mariana Island. Northern Mariana Island is a region in Micronesia in Oceania. Southern islands are limestone. However, northern islands are volcanic, with active volcano in Anatahan, Pagan and Agrihan. The volcano in Agrihan, called Mount Agrihan, has the highest elevation in Northern Mariana Island at 3,166 feet or 965 meters high. Saipan is the largest island and the capital of Northern Mariana Island. However, the capital region is called Capitol Hill. More than 90% of the Northern Mariana Islanders live in Saipan. It is also one of the most beautiful islands. The total area of all islands are only 464 square kilometers. The largest one is Saipan at 115 square kilometers. Second largest is Tinian, only a bit smaller than Saipan. And the third largest one and the most southern Northern Mariana Island is Rota. The other islands are much more smaller and they are uninhabited.
History!
Northern Mariana Island history is quite interesting. So the first known settlers came from Philippines, Indonesia and Malay Peninsula approximately 4,000 years ago. And they were called Chamorros. They built their houses on these giant stones called latte stone. And these were gigantic. So by the time other people came in the 1st century, 2nd century, they thought these people their ancestors must have had supernatural power to erect these stones and build. But they don't have supernatural power, but they are extremely smart for the era that they lived in. Spanish explorer Ferdinand Magellan and his crew came to the island in 1521 and he claimed the island for Spain. Chamorro people welcomed him first, but they took one of a small boat. In Chamorro culture, it is acceptable and normal to take something that's small from somebody else if that would help them significantly. So they thought the small boat is insignificant to Ferdinand and it would help them with fishing and stuff. So Ferdinand didn't like this. So he named the Island of Thieves. Spain formally occupied the island in 1668. The islands were renamed Marianas by Spanish Queen Maria Ana in 1668. So most native Chamorro population died from European diseases because they didn't have any immunization to it, and the survived one were forced into labor and taken to Guam in 1720. Guam is another island we will talk about in Guam session, another island in the Mariana Archipelago. The island was developed into ranches for raising cattle and pig. Then Carolinians, mainly from Carolina Island, immigrated to Mariana Islands in the early 1800s to help with the farming and kind of develop the island. So then came the Spanish-American War in 1898. Spain lost Guam, one of the biggest islands in the Mariana Archipelago, to America. So they sold the rest of the island to Germany in 1899. Germany administered the island as part of the colony of German New Guinea. And they didn't develop or they didn't invest any money. And the island kind of went through the economic hardship. In the early part of World War I, Japan declared war on Germany and invaded Northern Mariana Island. In 1919, League of Nations gave control of Northern Mariana Island to Japan. In the early 20s, Japanese started to migrate and build sugar industry, and many Japanese, including other ethnics like Korean, Okinawan, and Taiwanese, immigrated to the Northern Mariana Island. In 1939, the island population topped 130,000. In 1941, hours after Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, they also attacked Guam from Northern Mariana Island. Guam was and still is a United States territory. Chamorros from Northern Mariana Island were brought to Guam to help Japanese control the Guamanian. Chamorros apparently treated Guamanian harshly, and this incident damaged the relationship between the neighboring island to this day. Everybody knows the war is coming. So Japan is considered Saipan, one of the largest islands in the Northern Mariana Island, as kind of a last defense for their homeland. And they had strong military presence in Saipan. In mid-1944, nearly 30,000 Japan troops were present in those tiny islands. US Marine and Army landed in Saipan in mid-June 1944, and they spent about 3 weeks fighting heavily. Over 3,000 US soldiers were killed and over 10,000 wounded. But almost 30,000 soldiers were killed or committed suicide, and some 20,000 Japanese civilians died, including over 1,000 of them who committed suicide by jumping off the cliff rather than taken as a prisoner. So the island had a devastating history in the World War II. Finally, the war ended. Northern Mariana Island was administered by United States under the United Nations Trust and became responsible for defense and foreign affairs. There were four referenda between 1958 and 1969 offering integration with Guam or changing the island's status or becoming independent. Majority of the Northern Mariana Islanders wanted to integrate with Guam and become part of the United States territory. But Guamanian rejected this reunification mainly because they were treated by Chamorros badly in the Japanese era. Northern Mariana Island was suffering after the war ended because there is no economic development. They looked at their neighbor Guam, which was part of the United States for some time now, and they were doing much better. So the islanders gave up freedom as a way of stopping or reducing the suffering and having a hard time, and choose not to seek independence and become a part of the US territory in the 70s. So they negotiated a deal and they became a Commonwealth of the United States. As part of the deal, they gave up 2/3 of the island of Tinian, the second largest island. At the time, they were happy, but now there is some crack in the relationship. Not all the Marianas are happy with the decision, especially after US got involved and made some changes, and they believe that US is putting more control over them. Under the President George W. Bush, US took over the Commonwealth minimum wage and immigration law in response to some other concern about labor abuse, but this negatively impacted their island economy and pretty much destroyed their garment industry. Bush also established a national marine monument to conserve water around the northmost islands. Those are uninhabited, but it impacted the fishermen. So they are still fishermen, and the US is still fighting about whether they can fish or how the area should be treated. For now, Northern Mariana Islanders are not happy but content with the situation that they are in. However, there is more push to become independent or have a better status. We will wait and see what happens.
People and culture.
Northern Mariana Island population is about 57,000 now, but about 20 years ago the population was 70,000. The decrease mainly came from disappearing garment industry because of the wage increase and immigration law change, economic crisis, and decline in tourism. But out of this 57,000 people, 53,000 lives in one island called Saipan. This is the biggest island. This is also the capital of Northern Mariana Island. About 1/4 of the total population is Chamorros. They are natives. A small minority of Carolinians who are migrated from Carolinians islands during the 19th century are sort of considered native. But this may surprise you. About 1/3 of the population is Filipinos, and still quite a bit of population that is non-resident or a guest worker, mostly from Asia. Since the 90s, the government is trying to control the number of non-residents in the island, and it's quite successful. Much of the Chamorros culture is influenced by Spanish, German, and Japanese culture. But respect is the key part of Chamorros culture. They respect their elders extremely well. Children live with their parents until they have their own children. And even then, families, friends, and neighbors help raise the young ones and help each other out. Northern Mariana Island is a trilingual country. English, Chamorros, and Carolinian are three official languages. Philippines language, Chinese, and other Pacific Island language are also spoken by many people, and the dialects is a little bit different. Majority of the Chamorros and Carolinians are Roman Catholic. Actually, 65% of the islanders identify themselves as Roman Catholic, while 16% is Protestant, but you can also find closer to 10% of the population as Buddhist, thanks to Japanese influence. Food in this island is amazing. Much of the cuisine is influenced by various cultures. Popular food includes all sorts of empanadas, originally introduced from Spain, and pancit, a noodle dish from Philippines. A red rice dish is a staple in Chamorros cuisine, and the fruits are yummy, such as breadfruit, mangoes, coconut, and blimbinis are included in many recipes. American introduced baseball during the World War II to the island. Baseball is the island's most popular sport. Northern Mariana Island teams have played Little League World Series and won gold medals on Micronesia and South Pacific Games. Basketball and mixed martial arts are also popular in the island. Saipan music scene include American music, Asian music, and local music. When I say local, it include Chamorros, Carolinians, Micronesians, Hawaii reggae, and Palaluan. There are few radio stations on Saipan, mainly play some classical English music as well as some local Philippines music.
Government!
Northern Mariana Island is a Commonwealth of the United States. Their president is the United States President. Northern Mariana Islanders are US citizens at birth, but they don't vote for US President. However, they vote for Democratic and Republican primaries. Northern Mariana Islanders elect one delegate to the US House of Representatives. Their delegate can participate in debates and vote in committees but has no vote on the floor, has no role in the US Senate, but he is equal to senators when he serves as a committee member. Federal fund to the Commonwealth is administered by Department of Interior. The law of the US apply to every Northern Mariana Islander and the island itself, except for custom and some aspect of the taxation. Northern Mariana Island also have a local government. It's a multi-party presidential representative democratic system. The executive branch is headed by the governor of the Northern Mariana Island. Administratively, the Northern Mariana Island is divided into 4 municipalities. Senate has 9 seats. They are elected and serve for 4-year term. House of Representatives has 20 seats and serve only for 2 terms. Local government is responsible for buildings, land, education, and public health, those things. And US government is responsible for customs, taxation, immigration, foreign affairs, and pretty much everything else.
Economy!
Northern Mariana's economy suffered significantly after the minimum wage increase and some immigration law changes in the early 2000s, and it's bouncing back, and tourism is the significant contributor to the economy. They get a lot of tourists from China, and Korea. Northern Mariana Island is making a concerted effort to broaden the tourism by extending casino and gambling from small islands like Tinian and Rota to the main island of Saipan. Casino is the largest taxpayer. Closer to 90% of the people work in the service industry, mostly in tourism, gambling, banking, which contribute to much of the GDP. Only 2% of the population work in the agriculture sector, which grows coconut, breadfruit, tomatoes, and melon. You can also find few cattle ranches. Agriculture contributed less than 2% of the GDP. Other industries include fishing and construction, but unemployment rate is higher at about 11%, and they use US dollar as their currency.
Climate!
Northern Marianas Island climate is considered as tropical. Temperatures are so stable all year round. Saipan holds the Guinness World Record for the steadiest temperature. The dry season is from December to June and the temperatures are usually 30 degrees. Rainy season is from July to November and is usually around 28 degrees. And they usually get about 2000 millimeters of rain yearly. You could also expect typhoons, as the island is located in the Typhoon Alley. In 2018, Typhoon U2 is the second strongest typhoon to ever hit Saipan, and it caused quite a bit of trouble for them. Have you subscribed yet? If not, subscribe and ring the bell button so you can explore the world with us. The next stop is going to be Guam, neighbor of Northern Mariana Island. Thank you for watching. We got information from many of the sources. I hope you enjoyed it. We summarized the best we could. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Bye.